Hello friends, welcome to the YouTube channel of FinSim, where we are trying to simplify the complicated world of personal finance for you. My name is Raghu, a certified financial planner by qualification. In this video, we will be sharing the details of a health insurance policy by ICICI Lombard called Health Advantage Policy. Before we start, let me give you a heads up. This is going to be a pretty long video because we have made an effort to explain the benefits of the policy in detail and more importantly, the conditions in detail. Most of the times, insurance is purchased by taking a quick look at the policy benefits and not actually going through the terms and conditions, because of which insured individuals often complain about health insurance company not honoring the claims. My sincere request to all of you is to see the video till the end, and in case of any questions, please share the same in the comment section and we will do our best to answer them for you. Before we jump into the product features, let's look at some of the disclaimers. This video is meant for education purpose only. You need to consult your financial planner before proceeding with any purchases. Views expressed in this video are based on our vast personal experience and analysis. We are associated with ICICI Lombard for sales and servicing. Let's first understand the need for health insurance. With the increasing pollution, stressful life, popularity of junk food, lifestyle diseases like diabetes, cholesterol, kidney and liver issues, and cardiac disorders have become quite rampant. We have seen quite a lot of young people who are diagnosed with these conditions. Cost of healthcare is on the rise, and so are the types of ailments impacting us these days. Surgeries, organ transplants, chemotherapy, and such other medical procedures can leave a massive dent in your pocket. Having a sufficient health insurance policy will come to your rescue and take care of your medical expenses so that you stay on track in order to achieve your financial goals. Government of India also recognizes the need for individuals to avail medical insurance and to encourage individuals to avail individual medical insurance policies. It provides certain tax reliefs as well. For self and family below the age of 60, 25,000 rupees can be deducted from taxable income. In case of senior citizen, same would be 50,000 rupees. In addition to this, if an individual is availing the medical insurance policy for parents, additional cover of 20k is available if parents are below the age of 60 and 50,000 rupees if they are above the age of 60. Health insurance companies want you to be healthy so that they don't have to shell out huge amount of money from their pockets for medical expenses. In order to achieve that, they provide ancillary benefits like nutrition consultations for weight loss, discounts if you exercise on a regular basis, yearly medical checkups, teleconsultations with doctors, etc. Although this should not become the core reason for you to buy the health insurance, it definitely works like a cherry on top of the cake. Let's now look at the benefit one can avail in this policy. Sum insured is the maximum amount of money one can claim from the health insurance company in return for the premium which he or she is paying. Individuals or families can take these policies for sum assured ranging from 5 lakh rupees to 3 crores. Inpatient care refers to all the expenses incurred by the individual while he or she is admitted in the hospital as inpatient. This policy provides cover to the extent of the sum insured. That is, for example, if the insured has taken a policy of 10 lakh rupees and the hospital bill is around 10 lakh rupees, health insurance company is liable to pay the entire bill except for certain non-medical items which might account for hardly about 3 to 4% of the bill amount. Room rent plays an extremely important role in claim settlement. There are policies which set a limitation on the room rent, and if an individual avails a room where the rent is more than the limit set by the insurance company, then the health insurance company is liable to settle the bill proportional to the room rent. Let me explain this with an example. Let's assume the room rent upper limit is 4,000 rupees per day as per the policy, and if the insured has opted for a room rent costing 5,000 rupees per day, mathematically, health insurance is obligated to cover only 80% of the total cost. That is 4,000 divided by 5,000 multiplied by 100. At the time of discharge, total hospitalization bill if it amounts to about 5 lakh rupees. In this situation, health insurance company will settle the bill using the simple formula 5 lakh divided by 5,000 multiplied by 4,000 rupees, which amounts to about 4 lakh rupees. Fortunately, this policy does not have any room rent capping, so one need not worry about the category of the room to avail. Guaranteed Cumulative Bonus or GCB is an excellent feature in this policy. If no claim has been made in a policy year by the insured, then for each such policy year, the company will offer a GCB of 20% of sum insured, maximum up till 100% of sum insured. Let's understand this with an example of an individual who has taken a health insurance policy with 5 lakh rupees as sum insured. In case of no claim on year 0, after the first year renewal, insured will be eligible for 20% of 5 lakh rupees. That's 1 lakh of GCB and the total sum insured increases to 6 lakhs. Year 1, let's assume, also had no claims. Additional 1 lakh of GCB was added and the total sum insured became 7 lakh rupees. Year 2 had a claim, so no GCB was added. At the same time, the total sum assured will not go down as well and remains the same as 7 lakh. This is where GCB differs from no claim bonus, where the sum insured reduces during the claim year. Another example for year 3, let's assume it also had a claim. So no GCB this time as well and the sum insured remains as 7 lakh. In addition to the modern medicines, insured can also opt for Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy treatments commonly known as Ayush up to sum insured. There are few conditions which are applicable here. One, this will be on reimbursement basis only and cashless hospitalization is not available. Second, insured should have availed the Ayush benefit through inpatient hospitalization only. When the insured requires an organ donation, this policy will cover the hospitalization expenses incurred for harvesting the donated organ up to sum insured. It will also cover screening expenses of the donor if he or she is accepted as donor, post-donation fitness test certificate. This also covers any medical expenses as a result of complications arising because of harvesting from the donor. But it should be either before 6 months of organ harvesting or before the end of the policy, whichever is earlier. Any medical expenses incurred 60 days prior to hospitalization is also covered. Similarly, any medical expenses incurred 180 days after the insured's admission to the hospital will also be covered in the policy. Maximum amount which one can claim under this clause is limited to the sum insured and it is available only on reimbursement basis and it won't be cashless. With the advancement in the field of medical science, most of the procedures which used to require 24 hours of hospitalization are now treated without hospitalization. This policy also covers all the daycare procedures required. This policy also provides a restore benefit. This is called by different insurers with different names like reset, rebound or restore. Under this policy, if the insured has completely utilized the sum insured and GCB during a policy year, and if the insured needs to incur additional medical expenses again for any ailment, accident or injury, which is a valid admissible claim, then the insurance company restores 100% of the original sum insured of the policy and the same is called as regained sum insured. Usually this restore benefit is available for non-related ailments, that is ailments for which claim was not paid earlier. However, this policy covers even related ailments. This restore benefit is available just once in a policy year and this is restored even on account of partial or full utilization of sum insured. If the regained sum insured is not utilized in a policy year, it cannot be carried forwarded to the next year. This policy provides reimbursement of 1% of sum insured up to a maximum of 10,000 rupees to cover medical expenses of OPD treatment for vaccination or immunization for treating animal bites. Nowadays, most of the insurance providers support the domiciliary hospitalization as well. Let's understand what domiciliary hospitalization is. Any medical treatment required for illness, disease, or injury, which under normal circumstances is treated in the hospital. However, if the same is taken from home, it's called domiciliary hospitalization. It also covers expenses on qualified nurses engaged on the recommendation of the attending medical practitioner. However, we need to note that this comes with few conditions. Patient should not be in a position to be moved to a hospital, or it should be on account of non-availability of a room in a hospital. The treatment which is taken under this feature should be for a period of more than 3 days. Anything less than 3 days is not going to be supported in this policy. Bariatric surgery is required when an individual is unable to lose weight with exercise and diet, and the doctors advise for a surgery to control the overweight issue. This policy will cover reasonable amount of expenses associated with this procedure, subject to 50% of the sum insured with a maximum cap of 10 lakh rupees, and one can avail this after having a waiting period of 3 years. Some of the conditions which needs to be fulfilled are: insured should be 18 years or older, with a BMI of 40 or more, and in conjunction with severe comorbidities like coronary heart disease or medically refractory hypertension or type 2 diabetes. Two qualified surgeons should certify that this procedure is actually required, and prior approval from the health insurance company is a must. If these conditions are not met, health insurance company can deny the claims towards bariatric surgery. On an annual basis, up to 0.5% of the sum insured, subject to a maximum of 10,000 rupees, can be claimed for health checkup on cashless basis for individuals above the age of 18. Convalescence benefit is a cash paid to the insured person if he or she is hospitalized for a period of more than 10 days, and the claim is accepted by the insurance company for the same. This can be claimed once in a policy year. This amount is paid over and above the sum insured. Worldwide cover is available under this policy if the insured opts for a cover of 25 lakh rupees or more. This is available on reimbursement basis only, with the exchange rate published by RBI on the date of loss. A co-payment of 10% is applicable for all the claims. This covers the inpatient and daycare procedures. However, pre and post hospitalization claims are not allowed under this benefit. This policy also covers expenses incurred for surface ambulance on cashless and reimbursement basis to the extent of 1% of sum assured up to a maximum of 10,000 rupees per hospitalization. There are few more optional benefits which are built into the policy. Let's review some of them. By paying an additional premium, one can avail domestic air ambulance facility also under this policy up to policy sum insured. However, these are subject to few conditions. It should be for life-threatening emergency health conditions of the insured, and transportation would be limited to the nearest hospital for medical treatment, and transportation should be certified in writing by a medical practitioner, and road ambulance services should not be available. Air ambulance provider should possess the valid license for operating air ambulance. Treatment taken at the hospital should be a valid claim payable by the insurance company. Air ambulance availed for transporting insured from one hospital to another, or hospital to residence of insured, or facility availed outside of India are not covered under this policy. Ambulance assistance is an additional paid service provided by the insured for ground transportation. Teleconsultations, this is one of the most amazing benefits available under this policy. wherein the insured can raise a request for teleconsultation with a medical professional through the ICICI Lombard mobile app, and a call with a medical professional will be arranged. After listening to the medical issues, medical professional will prescribe the medication required. My family has utilized this facility during COVID times when approaching the hospitals was risky. And even now, for certain medical issues, we seek teleconsultation. This facility is available absolutely free of charge. Home care treatment cover provides for cashless treatment of medical expenses incurred by the insured on home treatment up to 5% of sum insured, subject to a maximum of 25,000 rupees. This is acceptable only if the medical practitioner has advised to undergo such treatment at home. Treatments that can be availed on OPT basis are out of scope of this benefit. In addition to the earlier discussed options, there are few more optional benefits one can avail by paying additional premiums. For example, women aged between 18 and 45, they can opt for maternity benefits, wherein the insured company or insured policy will cover up to 3 deliveries to the extent of 10% of the sum insured, subject to maximum of 10 lakh rupees. This covers the expenses associated with the delivery of the baby and also covers expenses related to the medically recommended legal termination of pregnancy, but only in life-threatening situation under the advice of a medical practitioner. Is it as simple as it looks? Definitely no. Let's look at the conditions associated with it. While availing the policy, insured should take the cover for 3 years in one go. Insurance premium with maternity cover would be a bit higher than the premium for the base insurance coverage. Example, for a couple in their late 20s, if they are opting for an insurance cover of 10 lakh rupees for and cover of 3 years without maturity, they will have to pay around 53,000 rupees as premium. Same with maternity cover, the premium for 3 years changes to 1.77 lakhs, a difference of almost about 1.25 lakh. You cannot claim the benefit immediately after taking in the policy. There is a waiting period of 9 months. Delivery date should be after 9 months from the date of taking the policy. Ectopic pregnancy is a type of pregnancy in which the fetus develops outside the uterus, typically in a fallopian tube, and the same is not covered under this benefit. When you opt for the maternity cover, new baby cover also will be a part of the benefit, wherein in case of hospitalization of baby, health insurance company will provide twice the maternity cover for the newborn. Important point to note here is that this cover is over and above the maternity limit. Newborn babies vaccination cost up to 1% of the sum insured or rupees 10,000, whichever is lower, will also be covered under this policy. This is over and above the maternity cover. To claim this benefit, health insurance companies should have accepted the maternity claim. Riders are additional benefits which the insured can get by paying additional premium. There are two riders which one can opt for. First one is the claim protector. Under a normal health insurance policy, there is a list of excluded items released by IRDAI which is not covered and paid by the health insurance policy. Usually this accounts for about 3 to 4% of the overall bill generated by the hospital. However, adding this claim protector rider in this policy will ensure that the bills associated for these excluded items are also settled during the claim settlement process. You might want to pause the video for a couple of minutes to go through the list of excluded items not covered under normal hospitalization cover, which is displayed on the screen. Inflation is a silent monster which erodes the value of money over time. It's important for us to increase our sum insured on a regular basis to tackle the effect of inflation. This rider, sum insured protector, helps us in increasing the sum insured on an annual basis based on the consumer price index data which is published by Central Statistical Organization. We should note that the increase would be only on the sum insured and not on the GCB. If you're finding the information useful, please subscribe to our channel, like this video and share it with your friends and family. Now that we have seen the policy benefits, it's equally important for us to take a look into the permanent exclusions to understand what are not covered in the policy. Concept of insurance has originated from the idea of loss of few being reimbursed by the small amount of premiums collected from a large group of individuals. In conditions like war, nuclear, chemical, or biological attack, number of people impacted would be significantly higher, and this would drive the insurance provider to bankruptcy. Because of this reason, all medical expenses associated with war, nuclear, chemical, or biological attacks are not covered in this policy. This is the case with all the other insurance providers as well. Any treatment taken outside the country for policies where the sum insured is less than 25 lakhs are also not covered under this policy. If the insured has taken admission in the hospital primarily for diagnosis and evaluation purposes, they are also not covered. Also, any diagnostic expenses which are not related to or not incidental to the current diagnosis and treatment, they are also excluded from this policy benefit. Expenses related to any admission primarily for enforced bed rest and not for receiving treatment. This also includes any custodial care either at home or in a nursing facility for personal care, such as help with activities of daily living, such as bathing, dressing, moving around either by skilled nurses or assistant or non-skilled persons. Any services for people who are terminally ill to address physical, social, emotional, and spiritual needs are also not covered under this policy. Expenses related to the surgical treatment of obesity that does not fulfill the following conditions are also not covered. 1. Surgery has to be conducted upon the advice of the doctor. 2. Surgery or the procedure conducted should be supported by clinical protocols. The member undergoing the surgery should be 18 years of age or older. Fourth, body mass index should be greater than or equal to 40, or it should be greater than or equal to 35 in conjunction with any of the following severe comorbidities. 1. Obesity related cardiomyopathy. 2. Coronary heart disease. 3. Severe sleep apnea. 4. Uncontrolled type 2 diabetes. Expenses related to any treatment, including surgical management, to change characteristics of the body to those of the opposite sex is not covered. Expenses for cosmetic or plastic surgery or any treatment to change appearance is not covered, unless for reconstruction following an accident, burn, or cancer, or as part of medically necessary treatment to remove a direct and immediate health risk to the insured. For this to be considered a medical necessity, it must be certified by the attending medical practitioner. Expenses related to any treatment necessitated due to participation as a professional in hazardous or adventure sports, including but not limited to parajumping, rock climbing, mountaineering, rafting, motor racing, horse racing or scuba diving, hand gliding, skydiving, deep sea diving, all of them would not be covered under this policy. Expenses for treatment directly arising from or consequent upon any insured person committing or attempting to commit a breach of law with criminal intent is also not covered. Example, fall from a high-rise building while attempting to rob a house. Expenses incurred towards treatment in any hospital or by any medical practitioner or any other provider specifically excluded by the insurer and disclosed in its website notified to the public policy holders are not admissible. However, in case of life-threatening situations or following an accident, expenses up to the stage of stabilization are payable but not the complete claim. Any treatment for alcoholism, drug or substance abuse, or any other addictive condition and consequences thereof are not going to be covered under this policy. Any treatment received in health hydros, nature Q clinics, spas or similar establishments or private beds registered as a nursing home attached to such establishments or where admission is arranged wholly or partly for domestic reasons won't be covered. Dietary supplements and substances that can be purchased without prescription, including but not limited to vitamins, minerals, and organic substances, unless prescribed by a medical practitioner as part of hospitalization claim or daycare procedures, would also not be covered. Any expense related to the treatment for correction of eyesight due to refractive error less than 7.5 diopters will not be covered. Expenses related to any unproven treatment, services, and supplies for or in connection with any treatment will also not be covered. Unproven treatments or procedures or supplies that lack significant medical documentation to support their effectiveness. Any expense incurred towards sterility and infertility will also not be covered. This includes any type of contraception or sterilization. Assisted reproduction services, including artificial insemination and advanced reproductive technologies such as IVF, ZIFT, GIFT, ICSI, will also not be covered. Gestational surrogacy and reversal of sterilization is also not covered under this policy. Any medical treatment expenses traceable to childbirth, that's including complicated deliveries and cesarean sections incurred during hospitalization, except ectopic pregnancy, will not be covered. Expenses towards miscarriage, unless due to an accident, and lawful medical termination of pregnancy during the policy period. If the insured has opted for if the insured has opted for maternity cover, then the provisions of maternity cover will be applicable. Any expense incurred on OPD treatment would be out of scope from this policy benefit. In addition to the earlier listed permanent exclusions, disease, illness or ailments, this slide also contains the list of all the ailments which are not going to be covered in the first 2 years of the policy. You might want to pause the video for a minute to go through the list. Now that we have understood the policy benefits, conditions, and exclusions, let's understand who all can avail this policy. Minimum entry age of the insured should be 91 days and maximum should be 65. Any dependent child who does not have an independent source of income and up to the age of 25 can be covered under this family floater option. This policy can be renewed till lifelong for adults. However, any dependent child will be dropped from the policy cover after attaining the age of 20. This policy can be both for individuals as well as family. Also, individuals, entities with insurable interest can purchase the policy for individuals like employer acting as proposer for employees and their family members. Definition of family here means grandfather, grandmother, father-in-law, mother-in-law, father, mother, spouse, son, daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, grandson, granddaughter, brother, sister, sister-in-law, and brother-in-law. As discussed earlier, there are waiting periods for availing benefits under this policy. Insured cannot avail a hospitalization benefit during the first 30 days of the policy unless the hospitalization is on account of an accident. Any pre-existing diseases which the insured has declared while availing the policy would be covered after 2 years of renewal. That's from the third year onwards. Specific conditions which we have listed earlier will be covered after 2 years of renewal, once again from the third year onwards. Bariatric treatment can be availed after 3 years of renewal. As the medical expenses which an individual incurs varies depending upon the insured's location, premium for the insured in this policy is charged based on the place of residence, and 3 zones have been fixed by the insurance company, which is displayed on the screen. This can be upgraded based on insured's convenience. If an individual has opted for Zone 1, he or she can go for hospitalization in any of the zones without any copayment. If the insured from Zone 2 wants to avail hospitalization in Zone 1, then there will be a copayment of 12.5%. There won't be any copayment for treatment taken in Zone 3. If an insured from Zone 3 wants to avail hospitalization in Zone 1, then there will be a copayment of 15%. Same stands for 12.5% in case of Zone 2. As per IRDAI guidelines, all medical insurances have a free look period of 15 days from the date of receipt of the policy, so that the insured can go through the policy terms and conditions in detail. This is available only on new policies and not available for renewals or at the time of porting or migrating the policy. If the insured decides to return the health insurance policy within this period, premium paid by him or her would be returned after deducting any expenses which would have been incurred towards medical expenses like medical checkup, stamp duty charges, or proportionate risk premium for the period of cover. At the time of policy renewal, insured is given a grace period of 30 days for annual premium policies and 15 days for other than annual premium policies for renewing the policy after the expiry of the policy period. Who doesn't like discount? If the insured is purchasing the policy for 2 years, insured can avail a discount of 7.5% on the total premium, and in case of 3 years, it stands at 10%. In addition to the discount, when the insured takes the insurance for multiple years, he or she can be assured of no price hikes for the following policy periods. After the free lookup period, if the insured wants to cancel or terminate the policy, health insurance company will retain a certain percentage of premium based on the number of months expired from the date of policy issuance and reimburses the rest. You can refer the table on the screen for 1 year. Here is a table for policies purchased for 2 years. On the screen, you can see the table for policies purchased for 3 years. Let's now look at the most important aspect, that's how to get our claims processed on cashless basis. As soon as we get the policy document, we should check out for the network hospitals where one resides, and during the health emergencies, one should look for getting admission in one of these network hospitals. You can also find the list of network hospitals from the company website. During emergency, one can get admitted and then reach out to the insurance desk of the hospital to submit the relevant documents for authorization. However, if it's planned hospitalization, it's advisable to approach the insurance desk 2 to 3 days prior to admission and submit the documents for approval process. Insurance desk of the hospital will forward the documents to the ICICI Lombard healthcare team for approval. In case of no queries, ICICI Lombard healthcare team will provide the authorization, and in case of any query, will ask for additional documentation. If the hospitalization is on account of any exclusions listed in the policy, ICICI Lombard healthcare team can also reject the claim. It's not always possible to get treated in the network hospitals and avail the cashless benefit. Sometimes insured might have to be treated in non-network hospitals, and at that time insured needs to pay the hospital bills and then submit the claim with the health insurance company. Insured need to pay all the hospital bills upon discharge and collect all the original bills and reports of the procedures underwent. Then insured will have to submit a claim form to the health insurance company along with all the original bills. In case of no queries, ICICI Lombard care team will provide the authorization for payment, and in case of a query, will ask for additional documentation. If the hospitalization is on account of any exclusions listed in the policy, ICICI Lombard healthcare team can reject the claim. All claims approved by the ICICI Lombard healthcare team will be settled to the insured's bank account. We hope you found this video useful. You can always reach out to us for a free consultation to have your queries addressed. We can be contacted by either phone or email ID displayed on the screen. If you like this video, request you to subscribe to our channel, like this video and share it with your friends and family. See you in our next video. Thank you.